Hello, I am Sharik Esmeraldas Rubio. I am a student at Joliet Central High School. This is my project for my orientation to technology class where we made a rubber band dragster for our wood unit. In this video, I will be explaining how I was able to make this dragster possible. Some things I am going to go through are what a rubber band dragster is, what apps I used, how I got the measurements, the procedures, and the finished result. Well, to start off, a rubber band dragster is a toy that runs on kinetic and potential energy. I used CAD and Inventor to create the whole dragster. The measurements were given to me by my teacher. I'm going to go through the procedures I did, and at the end, I'm going to show the final result and if it was successful or not. For 3D modeling, I used AutoCAD Inventor. I started with a 2D sketch of the wheel with the measurements that were provided for me on my reference sheet. Then I extruded it into a 3D model. That way it would be easier to create a hole in the middle of my wheel. After that, I added fillets so the wheels are nice, round, and smooth. I repeated this process with my front wheels as well, just with different measurements. To get the outline of the drawing for my wheels, I used CAD drawing. My teacher gave me an example of how it was supposed to look like and the measurements too. When I got it, I made them isometric and geometric. Once I finished that, I went ahead and did the center marks and lines, which references the dimensions in the holes and axles. At last, I did my title block, which just tells whoever is looking at your drawing your name, the name of the drawing, the day you did it, and your email. For my first step, I had to grab a piece of wood and measured it so it could be 6 inches. After I got the measurement and got my teacher to approve it, I was able to move on to the miter saw. With adult supervision, I proceeded and cut through my piece of wood. I made sure to cut all the way through and not stop halfway. I stopped my miter saw once it was fully out of the wood. As shown, this is the piece of wood after it was cut, and this is how a miter saw is supposed to look like. Next, for my axle holes for my wheels, I had to locate the measurement, which in this case it was 9/32. Once I located it, I got my teacher to approve it. After that, I was able to move on to the drill press. That way it can make a hole through the entire body of my dragster. This is what it was supposed to look like at the end. Once I did all of that, I started on the layout of my dragster. What I did was I printed the CAD drawing and cut the body piece and traced it onto the dragster. Once I finished that, I drew the relief lines and went ahead to start cutting along the relief lines with my bandsaw. After I finished with the bandsaw, I showed my teacher to get approval and was able to move on to the next step, which was sanding. I made sure the ends are nice and round and wasn't able to see any defaults. For my top holes, the first thing I did was locate where they were with my measuring tape and made a mark so it would be easier to see when I'm about to drill. Once I located them, I grabbed the drill that was provided for me, and it was even marked with painter's tape so it could tell me where I had to stop. I drilled at a 15-degree angle. This is what it's supposed to look like after the bandsaw, and this is how I marked it so it would be easier to see where I had to drill. For my motor pin and staff, I grabbed wooden dowels and cut them along the measurements that were given to me with a bandsaw. I did this with all 4 of my dowels, and this is how all 4 of them turned out as a result. For my wheels, I created the outline on CAD myself, but my teacher 3D printed the wheels for us to make it easier. After 3D printing it for us and giving it to us, he made sure that we assembled it along with our wooden dowels and told us not to press too hard. After all that, I could finally start painting. I decided to paint mine pink. I let it dry and came back the next day. I had to do 2 different colors, so I did the taping method and decided my other color was going to be black. This is the picture after I painted it pink. This is the taping method I decided to use, and this is after I painted it black with the painting method, and this is how it turned out. The first thing I needed to do to assemble my dragster was put in my wooden dowels. My dragster was already sanded, so the wooden dowels was very easy to put in. I I even put the nail in. This is my wooden dowels with the top holes, and this is after I put everything together with the nail in. Now we're going to look at a video to see if the dragster worked or not. As we can see, the dragster was able to go more than 5 tiles, so it turned out successful overall. This is the video again. The only adjustment I had to make was to change my front axle wooden dowel because the first time that I hammered it, it made a crack here in the middle and it broke the dowel. This is the before and this is the after. The after turned out better. Next time I'm going to be more careful using the bandsaw because I did leave a mark in the body piece. I will also be more careful with the drill while doing my top hold and make sure not to go too far down so it doesn't chip at the bottom again. As well, I will try not to break the wooden dowel by hammering the nail into it too hard and not assemble the wheels with too much pressure or they will get stuck. This is the end of my video on how to make a rubber band dragster. Thank you for watching, and I want to thank my two teachers, Mr. West and Mr. J, for helping me with this project and guiding me through. I hope you enjoyed this video.